I think Janey's got a bit of a crush on my publisher Giancarlo, so he had to belittle him in public. Giancarlo is really good, though. I'm gonna call him and say you said that. So thanks everybody for coming. Obviously, standing around, sitting around in this beautiful alleyway. That's actually pretty nice as alleyways go. I'm gonna read from a book I'm writing now about a video game. I never thought I'd be writing a book about a video game, but it happened. And it's a game that came out in 1995, and it's called Earthbound. I grew up in Potosi, Texas. In 1992, when I was 3, 1,441 souls lived among its small holdings and ranches. Over the next 8 years, Potosi's population grew by 223 people. I grew up among animals, lots of them. My family called it a ranch, and it was functional. My mother rehabilitated wounded animals, no matter the species, and bred and showed miniature horses. At one point, we hosted a horse named Tater Tot, the world's smallest stallion, and that's true, had the title for a little while. My mom drafted an acronym in his name, of course, TOT, Talk of the Town. How cute is that, Mom? Trying to recover some internet extant record of Tater Tot's miniature prowess comes up blank, though. But then the search leads me to another miniature horse named Tater Tot, and this horse was documented by National Geographic as he visited hospitals and schools in Salmon, Ohio. I realized that more and more of my past doesn't empirically exist if it's not salvageable with a Google search. I can't remember much of my 5th year alive. I mean, I can feel impressionistic activities, but they lack punctuation, looped and redrawn a million times by my attempts to recall and sharpen the memory, changing it a bit with every access. Allergies, high-tech West Texan winds, jumping on the trampoline, watching out the north window, fearful for white, spindly clouds, and playing Earthbound for the first time. It's hard for me to reconcile Earthbound with any video game I've played since. Most games traffic in repetitive, grisly thrills, but Earthbound focuses on emotion, on yearning. The team behind Call of Duty promotes the realism of its weaponry, which implies their pride in its resultant gore, but Earthbound's marketing campaign primarily hinged on scratch-and-sniff stickers designed to evoke the smell of hot dogs and vomit. It's true. $100 million games like Grand Theft Auto 4 are made by reclusive, Lamborghini-driving auteurs and massive teams of developers programmed to simulate American hustle, but I don't think there's a game that embraces and satirizes America's sentimental mongrel spirit better than Earthbound, which was produced by less than 20 people, helmed by a famous Japanese copywriter. A few days ago, I called my older brother for the first time in a year. Well, nearly a year. We had spent time with each other when I got married, June 16, 2012, but it's been a while, and major events have occurred in both our lives, and I haven't called the guy. I felt and still feel bad about this. So I thought this book about Earthbound would be the perfect excuse to reconnect with him, get us talking again. Why I thought I needed a writing project to reconnect with my brother instead of any of the various quakes in our lives, familial death, lost jobs, new homes, is mysterious to me. Mysterious if I chalk it up to something other than, well, I'm just an asshole. So when I called him a few days ago, I felt guilty. But then I told him about writing this book. And then we started talking about Earthbound. I think we started playing it on the weekends, and we'd play it all day, every day. I laugh. Yeah, that sounds about right. How long did it take us to beat it? I listened to Scott pause. Maybe 2 months. 1 to 2 months of 8 to 10 hours a day, or whenever Mom walked in and was like, go outside now. I remember playing it, but maybe I'm just making that up. I mean, I was 5 or 6, right? Normally I just watch you play a lot of games, like I was watching you control a movie for us. No, we swap back and forth, Scott says. Scott's 7 years older than me, I just realized this. 12-year-old Scott passing 5-year-old Ken the controller. If you don't have an older brother, or you have an older brother but he's terrible, I'm sorry. You wake up to the sound of a meteor whistling down to Onett, a small town in Eagle Land. The whine of distant sirens whiz by Ness's house and pause at some unseeable lesser distance. You're in pajamas, topped with jagged black hair, appropriately mussed for the story's abrupt start. After poking around a bit, you meet Pokey Minch, the rich kid next door. He's concisely introduced as an asshole and a kiss-ass, his parents cold and physically abusive. The game's first party, you, Pokey, and your dog, set out to find Picky, the youngest Minch boy. I just Googled Minch out of curiosity, and Urban Dictionary's first result, with 92 thumbs up, 69 thumbs down, is this. Minch, M-I-N-C-H, is the medical definition for, quote, stretched anal passage. The dictionary, however, disagrees. The dictionary says a minch is a channel derived into North Minch and Little Minch, separating northwest Scotland from the Outer Hebrides. The Star Wars Wikipedia says, Minch was a male member of a short-statured tridactyl species, Yoda, who served in the Jedi Order as a Knight of the Galactic Republic. So maybe Shigesato Itoi, Earthbound's creator, wanted the most obnoxious villain's surname to play off the Yiddish word Minch, M-E-N-S-C-H, shorthand for a good person. I don't know. Regardless, Pokey Minch's sprite design is uncomfortably vulval. His eyes are concealed by a choppy blonde bowl cut, and his rump nose overhangs a vertical glyph of teeth. The kid's got a white vagina on his face, is what I'm saying. And vaginas are wonderful, but this one's a bit out of place. Onett, Ness's hometown, and Ness is the hero of Earthbound. Onett, Ness's hometown, and the starting place of your journey, is infested with punks. Members of Onett's local gang, the Sharks, roam around town and sprint towards you to fight. The Sharks have a cohesive gangland aesthetic, albeit a weird one. The Yes Man Jr. wears a purple full-body stocking accented with a skeleton design and a harmful hula hoop. The skate punk, capital S, capital P, sports a workmanlike combo of drab gray stripes, suspenders, and brown trousers while popping an eternal wheelie on a sharpened skateboard. The pogo punk, well, attacks you with his pogo stick, and they all wear white gloves, huge grins, and a mohawk-esque spike on their heads. And appropriately enough to the me that grew up in Texas in the 90s, surrounded by country crooning and malicious mullets, the gang's ringleader and Ness's first solo boss fight, Frank, has a greasy-looking blonde mohawk/mullet combo. But you're only graced by Frank's pugilism after kicking the butts of all the local encounterable teens and busting your way through Shark HQ, the arcade. But the arcade doesn't actually house the game's first written instance of meta-awareness, a line that says, I got a lot of info about Earthbound, which is delivered by a blonde little girl outside Onett's library, which feels nice and Borgesian. And if, as Ness, you express interest in joining the Sharks, you're told to come back after you finish Earthbound, which feels like a little gesture of utopia, of game-like infinity. Even after you, quote-unquote, beat the game, you can still live within it, as well as a dangerous quickstand for my own nostalgia. Come play with us, Danny, forever and ever and ever and ever. But you push on anyway, because you need to defeat the bad guys to get to the key that unlocks the gate that guards the first melody. So now you're fighting Frank while a Johnny B. Good knockoff anthem wails out in treble. And if you're lucky, you beat Frank the first time, but then you have to jump straight into a fight with his tank-like robotic underling, Frankenstein Mark II, implying that there is a Frankenstein Mark I, which maybe exists in Earthbound's unwritten prelapsarian prologue, just out of reach of the cartridge-constrained story, and maybe some altered version of you played through this version or is playing through it right now, but only in the platonic Fantasia, animated by all artistic characters and possibilities that rhizome out into endless potential combinatory universes, so many universes, the characters playing with each other in a timeless, boundless ether in the sweetest, stakeless game. And funnily enough, Mark II's got gloves too, leaving Frank the only guy without white gloves in the whole gang, and the type of guy that makes his robot wear gloves. So it's good you just beat him, because you're a kid and there's the whole world to save, and fuck that guy. Thanks, everybody.